Hi guys, welcome to the Repeat Fitness Fishing Show. Jens-Erik. And you might not believe it, but up until yesterday we had close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit each day, every day for the last 2 to 3 weeks. The lake that we're fishing on right now is a reservoir, and it actually feeds a lot of apple plantations and fruit plantations, and their produce was getting sunburned, so they had to use a lot of this water, and fishing was real bad for the last 3 to 4 weeks. Fish wouldn't feed at all because of the temperature. The water wouldn't hold much oxygen, and since yesterday the temperatures are in the 60s and 70s at night. It's actually getting pretty nippy, and I'm very excited. I think we timed it perfectly. This is the first real fall session. It really feels like fall today. Lots of rain, overcast skies, and let me show you where I'm fishing. Well, since the fish weren't really feeding the last couple of weeks, I didn't dare to really put in a lot of free food. I just used a little bit of PVA mesh, produced a couple of very small bags with a couple of tigers, a little bit of pellets, and put that onto the hook and chucked it out there, and it got us 2 fish. So if I get another one or maybe a 4th one, I think we have enough proof to know that the fish are starting to feed, and then I might opt for the big spread approach. I brought my ready controlled bait boat, and I might actually top up the lake till it rises an inch or 2, because oh god, can you hear that? That sounds so perfect. We actually have some rain coming down. Oh, we needed that so much. So I used that for the first 2 fish, and I might go for 2 kilos per drop. Every time I use the bait boat, I take a rod out there. Now let's see how that goes. Well, morning. Bad news. The rain has stopped, and it hasn't been enough to really switch this water on. As you can tell, I'm still fishing 70 meters from the bank. The water's crept maybe this much closer, and the guys from the other bank actually started to really chuck out the bait in a last-ditch effort to catch, which I think is exactly the wrong way to go on a pressured water like this. I think that'll only attract the small, unwizened fish. The big wary guys are gonna head out into a protected sanctuary on the other end of the lake, and that's gonna be pretty much it. But we have a little gravel pit that is not regulated. It should be pretty much full with water, and it's pretty close to here, and I don't think anyone's been fishing there for quite a while, so I think a move is on the card. I think we're going to use a little bit of muscle power to increase our chances by switching venues. So nothing to it but get everything in the car, load everything up, and head out and see if we can cause some mischief over there. Quite a bummer, because I was really stoked that this water was going to produce after a 3-week or 4-week dry spell, but it's fishing. Nothing during the night either, so I think it's probably the best if we try our luck somewhere else. Well, this is it, the new spot. The rods are fishing. It's still very weedy out there. It's a gravel pit that's been unused for 30 to 40 years.
The water is very, very clear, so in the summertime the cabbage is just growing at an incredible pace. But I found two very nice gravelly areas, about 10 by 10 meters each. I put 5 kilos of baits on them, put the rods out there, and I'm fishing. And in the background you can actually see the local swimming hole. You can some toys for the kids and everything. And obviously in the summertime this is the loudest place on the weekends that you can find anywhere around here, with all the kids screaming and yelling and jumping in the water. And the season is actually, it's closed. It's been closed for 4 days now, so everything out there is pretty much virgin water. No one's been fishing here for at least half a year, and I'm confident that I'm going to get a take. I'm not sure if I can get the fish out. It's very weedy. I'm going to give it a shot. It's almost dusk. Just going to sit out here right next to the rods so I can pick them up immediately if I do get a take. I'm just very anxious that I might lose one in the weeds, but nothing ventured. Well, let me tell you a little bit about how I'm fishing here, which is obviously completely different to what we had been doing yesterday. The lake that we've just left was a cast-only lake, so everything was set up to achieve maximum distance, 140 grams of inline lead, very, very small hook links, very small boilie on that, and an 0.28 or 0.3 millimeter monofilament main line to really chuck it out there to go a long way. With that kind of weed, obviously I want strength above anything else in the main line, so I'm using 0.40 braided sinking line and a nice 0.65 mil shock leader. And after that, you've seen this stuff before if you've watched any of our videos. I love that fake weed lead core. It really doesn't look like anything at all. It doesn't look any unnatural or anything underwater. And obviously, to make it easy to play the fish, safety lead clip with the lead being able to break off, which usually helps to get the fish to the surface right away. The rods that I'm fishing are Gray's Platinum 50s. I like them. I like the 50 rings, the 50 mil rings. Very nice to achieve long distance. And these are actually 12-foot models, not 13-foot models. Out here I don't need the extra foot to cast. Most of that stuff is setting traps in little holes in the weed. I need accuracy above else, so extra length in casting doesn't come into play. They're 3.5 pounds because you really have to horse them fish if you do get a take. And to really find my spots, the first thing I had to do was snorkel out, and it's late September, so I might regret that. I'm not sure. Keeping my fingers crossed that I don't catch a cold. And I did that, with snorkeling gear. Found 2 spots, marked them, and to be able to get onto these spots time and time again. I'm a tackle tart. I'm using this. Got my own fish feeder bait boat, and it's got a built-in GPS and a built-in echo sounder, so I can actually see when I hit the gravel spots. And I marked both of the spots, and I actually marked my line as well with some nice piece of fluorescent string, so I can actually I know exactly when I hit the right distance with a boat, and I can just drop the bait and drop, I don't know, 3 to 5 kilos on top of the bait. So the traps are set. There's a lot of extra food out there right now, but I'm not here for the instant bite. I'm gonna stay at least 2, probably more like 3 or 4 nights. So I want that. I want more of a spread that will attract more fish and keep them occupied and keep them confident, than to nail the first fish after he's had like 3 or 4 boilies. See if it works out. People will tell you that they know all about fishing. It's a lot of guesswork, and sometimes you guess right and a lot of times you don't. Let's see if I do guess right today. Well, there we go. 2 minutes after midnight, and the first fish in the net. Just a small one. I don't know, 12, 13 pounds maybe. But the spots are working. Well, I'll be darned. That was another 2 or 3 freshly stocked carp of about 40 to 50 centimeters. And I'll be darned, didn't that one have 2 little hook wounds in its mouth? Is that a fish that I've already caught? Am I being swamped with the exact same specimen, same subject of fish on the same spot time and time again? Could that be it? I know there are big fish in here. They go up to 25 kilos, 26 kilos, but I can't get a foot in the door. I'll keep fishing until the dawn, see what else Fortuna has in store for me, but this is beginning to be ridiculous. I think it's the same fish that I've already caught out of, I don't know, a couple of hundred that should be in here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Guess I have to pull through or get moving to another lake. I'll just catch some Z's and see what's up in the morning. You've guessed it, a move was in the cards. Because in the time that I was battling it out with a small, freshly stocked carp, 2 friends of mine were visiting this water here, and during the same 2 nights they caught a 30 pounder, a 39 pounder, and lost a fish that should be well above 20 kilos. So, you know, there was no way that I was gonna sit back there and catch basically nothing, or, you know, fish of that size, not 20 kilos, but 20 centimeters. The water here is gin clear. It's a perfect place to snorkel, but it's the end of September. Well, it's possible. It's not very pleasant. So we opted for the more comfy approach. We took the boat out, found some very, very nice spot, hard and gravelly, just like the bank here, and they told me that this is where they caught these fish. I found 2 spots that I'm absolutely 100% happy with, and one that's actually, that's this rod right here. It's maybe, I don't know, 10 yards out. There's a drop-off covered with some weed, and then a very gravelly bar right beyond the weed, and I just dropped it in there, let it hang ever so slightly over the weed, and get back here. This might be a bonus fish. I didn't feed this as heavily as I fed the other two out there. It's just a trap that I set. It's a huge bay here that opens up to an even bigger part of the lake over there, and I think if they do move into the bay here, I might actually be able to intercept them here. So, you know, the big secret about long session trips for me is to get off your butt. So this was the 6th night, and it's the 3rd venue that I'm on because the others just weren't producing. And that's kind of hard to do when you have a, I don't know, 4.5 man tent and, you know, lots and lots of tackle with you. You just get sluggish, you don't want to move, you want to sit it out and wait for the fish to find you, and that rarely works. So I just, you know, I got my traveling boots on. I can pick up and go whenever I want to, and I hope this time that's gonna get me a bite. Okay, let's find out.
Well, my friends, not too easy to see, but that out there in the carp sack is what you get when you move 3 times in search of a lake that is active, that is going. That is my new personal best mirror carp. Oh my god. Well, it's 6 o'clock. Had the bite at 5:30, just when it was getting light. In a half an hour or so we have enough light to take the pictures, and I'll show this little beauty to you. I am over the moon. And this is what you get when you stay mobile, when you start working, changing your game plan, when the bites are not coming the way that you want it to. This is the 3rd venue of the session. I had 11 days planned. I had planned a very long session on one lake, but the lake just wouldn't produce. And this is it, 48 pounds on the dot, 48 German pounds, so 24 kilos, so I don't know, 52, 53 British pounds. Very nice fish. Very, very pleased with that. Absolute cracker. Not a brim. So stay mobile, find a lake that works for you. Don't just, if you have 11 days planned and it's not working, don't stay there for the whole 11 days sitting it out. Stay mobile and find a lake that suits you. What an awesome fish. Gotta use both of my knees. It's a waka. Look at the belly. Next fish after a very cold night where nothing happened, and I was starting to wonder if we'd overdone it, if our spots had been abandoned. No sir, it just took a little sun to get up and the fog to rise off the surface, and boom, one rod rattled off. Here we go, 17.5 kilos, so that's, I don't know, close to 40 or maybe even 40 British pounds, I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter, numbers are numbers, but this is a very beautiful
common carp. Look at the tummy on that thing. Very beautiful. Obviously the tail fin has had some damage, and even the dorsal fin, look at that. There's a huge gap. Almost looks like a perch with two dorsal fins, one after the other. But still, very nice fish. I'm so pleased with that. I had the coots on the spot this morning, and I figured maybe they had cleaned me out. A couple of line bleepers that were coots picking up the bait and dropping it again. Didn't know if the hook was still able to snag something or not, if everything had been tangled. But, well, an hour or two before I would have checked the baits anyway. Here we go, another nice result. No fish below 15 kilos on this spot for us. Amazing result. Okay, I think we should slip her back.